Are you a Too Opinionated subscriber? Did you know there's 15 million podcasts out there? And of those 15 million, only 38,000 have enough viewers to be listed on IMDb, the entertainment database. Of those 38,000, Too Opinionated is ranked number 82. Father and son team. Most of those podcasts that are ahead of us are the big companies, Disney, Marvel, Joe Rogan, those type of podcasts. We have over 600 episodes, actors, musicians, producers, directors, writers, anything that you could possibly want in the entertainment world, we're covering it. And we'd like your support. If you're not subscribed, it's easy to do and it's free. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Just go there and click that subscribe button. Helps us a ton. If you're listening, wherever you listen to your podcast from, subscribe there. It'll help us so much. And please go to imdb.com and check out our page. Look up the Too Opinionated Podcast, imdb.com, and just look around the page. It really helps us a ton. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for your support. Until next time, bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got actress Jessica Steen with me. So welcome, Jessica.
Hi. Thank you.
This is such a big, we've been talking for like 15 minutes and I was late. So I appreciated you hanging in with me. My dumb butt wrote the wrong time down. I don't know how I did that, but I did it.
I'm sitting here going, am I doing this wrong?
No, it was so nice. I was like, oh no. And I've been looking forward to this for I've been a fan of yours for at least 30 years.
Oh, Michael, you say that to all the kids.
Yeah, I know. I have been though.
Yeah, you're a fan of a lot of content. I'm impressed.
I am probably too much. If you ask most of my family, they'll be like, you need to do more. Like I do plenty, it's just different from what you do.
Yeah. Yeah. 5 podcasts a week. That is doing and prepping and yeah.
That's what I keep saying. I was like, that's a full-time job.
I'm busy.
Very busy.
And grandparenting. 5 grandchildren, my goodness.
Admittedly, I would do that almost every day. You couldn't do it every day. I know that's safe, but it's a lot.
Yeah, 5. That's running a nursery school right there.
It's a lot. And they're young. They go from like 2
under 4, all 5 under 4. That's some diapers. You got you got your hands full, sir. That's
there's 3 of them are potty trained.
Okay.
So that helps.
3 out of 5 ain't bad.
3 out of 5 are potty trained. That helps. The fourth one is working on it. He ain't got it.
But that's going to be a fun brood. They're like having cousins and growing up together. That's really good.
That was my whole purpose. I said I wanted to do it because that's how I grew up. I had a group of cousins that I kind of grew up with. And I think that's important. Families. So I just wanted them to have time to get to know each other and to be close. Good. And it's worked because they've spent the short time they've been here, they've spent it together. So they're close.
All like siblings. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that carries on as they get.
Yeah. Well, y'all live close to each other too, so that
we've got one. We live on Grant Avenue. The whole family's there.
That's just unbelievable. That's a series right there.
You gotta. Well, see, I say that too. We could do a sitcom. I think.
Yeah.
So we've got 3/4 of one corner. So it's like our house and 2 of the kids. And then there's this 4th one. Well, when we got the 3rd house, the 3rd child moved in there. He came out of his house and he said, hey, I'm not selling mine. I was like, but we got one more kid.
Yeah. Well, you could call it the wellness center.
I told him, I was like, you can come over and hang out with the grandkids.
Yeah.
If you want to, since we've got you surrounded.
Yeah, you'll squeeze him out.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah,
he's gonna get tired of us. Move out, and then we'll have that.
That's a good game of Monopoly going on right there.
I miss those days when, when I was growing up and everything you did was in the same neighborhood and you had
Yeah,
your little group, you had the neighbors would parent you if you happened to
yeah,
be in their yard at the time.
yeah.
You can't really do that anymore. It's gotten maybe it was always dangerous, but now that we're aware that it's dangerous, you can't
Well,
just let the kids run.
but see, I was a friend of mine who was visiting. We were talking about that yesterday about how grateful we are that we grew up in a time where the phone was on the wall or on the
Right.
table. And I had a dime taped to the underside of my bike seat so that I could make a call if I got lost. You came home when the lights came on, street lights came on, and
You better
and
be home when
there,
the lights came on.
right. Well, there's like autonomy, and we were both. She grew up in New York City. I grew up in Toronto, and we were on public transit
Yeah.
by ourselves. I was 7, she was 9. We were we had our own, subway fares, and we
Yeah.
moved. We walked to school. We came home from school. I think I don't. I mean, I have been told that crime has gone down. And it's just the reporting that's gone up, and the
Right.
fear factor is higher, and the helicopter parenting is more intense. But I think there is a loss in in worldliness or
Yeah.
streetwiseness or independence or just in a sense of yourself uh, outside of your family that is important. Yeah.
Well, it's important at that age to explore and get out there.
Yes.
That's how you learn
Yes.
different things.
Yes.
And we've got so
Yes.
many electronics now, which is
Oof.
great in
Yeah.
some ways, but it keeps the kids inside instead of having them
Yeah.
they're playing and
Yeah.
doing all the stuff we did. Plus, it's screwing up everybody's neck.
We're all getting
Been
dowager
over.
humps. Yeah.
Well, Jessica, I really appreciate you doing this. I really have been a fan of yours forever. You
Oh.
you did so many shows back in the especially in the 90s that
Yeah.
that I got to catch you on. And of course, you did Earth 2, and I know you
Yeah.
get a lot of that from the US fans. That was such a good show, and it was underrated. And just like a lot of science fiction shows, they didn't give it a long enough leash to gain whatever they were wanting it to be as far as the eyes on it. But it was a really good, well-made show.
So my friend that came to visit me did set deck on that show, and so
Yeah.
we've remained friends ever since. And in preparation of her arrival, she came for her birthday weekend. I digitized whatever Earth 2 VHSs I could find. It's an ongoing process of trying to digitize everything before it disintegrates. And we sat down. I was like so excited because I thought what I had was at least a few episodes, but it wasn't an episode at all. And I reached out to Tom Thayer, who was the CEO of Universal at the time. I was like, "Where is this show? Where can you find a copy of the show?" And we're going through the tapes, or now digitized. We're using the stick, and we're going through the whole thing, and everything. There was footage, a lot of footage from New Pacificon, which was the fan conference that
Yeah.
was created. Yeah, so it got a really good following. It was at the time the most expensive hour show out there, and
Which is probably why it didn't last as long as it should have.
well, sure, at $1 million an episode, which is nothing today, but back then, and it was mostly, there was a lot of people out of town that they had to house and per diem and all that stuff, but the animatronics and the costumes and the prosthetics and the CGI it was a big show, and it was
They used a lot of
big landscape.
it's almost like the Muppet type of costumes with some of the
Yeah,
creatures.
Greg Cannon was at the helm of that, and we were actually, because I took a ton of personal footage, and I was also, I guess the Sci-Fi Channel asked me to do some behind the scenes stuff. So they gave me a camera, and then I wandered around. I'm just not very good at that at all, but interviewing people and talking about stuff, and watching poor poor Jeff in the Grendler outfit.
Yeah.
And he can't see a thing. And he is in this huge contraption. And there are two remote control guys doing eyes, doing mouth, and pretty impressive for 94, 95, pretty amazing. But yeah, sort of.
I thought the effects were really, really good. I mean, it kind of reminded me some of like Land of the Lost and some of those,
yes,
the Croft type of stuff we had in the 70s and 80s.
Sleestacks as the Terrians. Yeah, I remember Land. I love Land of the Lost. That's funny.
I did too.
But yeah, I don't know. I can't find it. We would really wanted to watch the episodes and see how they stood up and be able to sit there and go, oh, you remember that and that and then that day and that happened.
Nobody's showing it.
I can't either. I can't find
Homefront either. So many channels out there, like Tubi or somebody you think would have picked it up.
Yeah. There's 2 series. I've only been on really 3, and 2 of them I can't find. Homefront I can't find either. There's no
Homefront was a good
DVD set. Yeah, that was a beautiful series, and they've got kind of fuzzy versions on YouTube, and I do have old VHSs of it. But anyway, yeah.
I know. It's surprising to me. Like even like the Me TV or My TV and that stuff where it shows all the old content.
Yeah.
They don't show like 90s content. It's 50s, 60s.
Nick at Night is 70s. And yeah.
Yeah, but Earth 2 I thought was terrific. Had a great cast.
Yeah.
I thought the cast was terrific. They put all the time in it. It was well written. And then it lasted, I think, 2 seasons?
Just one. Nope, one.
Just the one season. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Very disappointing with that.
Very, very, yeah. But you know what? Forged some amazing lifelong relationships. And it certainly introduced new things, set a bar, and did a job. It could have done more, because if it had given another season or so, it certainly had a fan base. But yeah, too bad.
It did. Now I think some of that fan base came after the fact, which developed kind of.
Like, where are they watching it? Like,
you can't watch it now, but maybe back then we could watch.
Oh yeah, okay.
I don't know. It's been too long.
I want to find it. Someone
I've
out there
always
find
had fond memories of it, but it's been years, decades since I've watched it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I know. So I wanted to ask you, because I know you're still doing Heartland, and
yes, sir.
That show has been on for what, 40 years or something.
Well, when I look at the first season, I'm like, oh wow, that's a lot of pounds and a lot of wrinkles later. We're at season 17, longest running Canadian hour show in history, and we're proud of that and very happy to be keeping going.
How many episodes are you doing a season now?
It's varied. So we started at 18, and then we were cut back to 10. And then we had last year just an anomaly season with 15, and now we're back to 10.
10's not terrible. That's not too bad. If you were doing like in the old days when they did like 22 or 26.
Oh my God, seasons were so long back then. Yeah, I know. Even 18 was a lot. We used to go May through, mid-December. Last year we went June to December, but we had a couple of weeks. We had slowdowns because of COVID and because of smoke. There was a lot of fires and nobody could breathe, and then there was heats, and I mean, we sort of ran the gamut last year. So anyway, this year is just May to the end of August for 10 episodes, and it feels like it's just
pretty long time though,
speeding by. Yeah,
I guess that's true. It's just the summer, and we're almost, amazingly, now we're in this month.
I know.
Where'd the year go?
I know, it's and time seems to speed up with age, doesn't it?
Yeah. I always got a kick out of Heartland because it's got the other Dr. Weir has been on there with that. You got to play Dr. Weir on Stargate for a few episodes, and then shoot, I'm drawing a blank on her name. Let me look. Michelle Morgan. Does that sound right?
Well, I mean, Michelle Morgan, of course, sounds. We're buds.
She was Dr. Weir on Stargate.
No.
No.
No. No,
Okay.
I would know that. I can't remember the gal's name who ended up taking over, but I know it wasn't her.
Well, it's pot. Yeah, I may just be remembering that wrong.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember, and I'm not
I'm
going
gonna
to go
find
look it
out.
up. That's a rabbit hole.
I'm gonna look it up
But you can look it
while we're
up.
talking.
Post note. Oh, you're gonna
I'm gonna
dump
do it
some
right
more.
now
Multitask. All right, all right.
because it should be an easy. Just
Well,
look.
and if you said that, whoever, oh gosh, what was her name? I can't.
No. It's
No.
Tori Higginson.
Yes, that's sorry. That's
Tori
yes,
Higginson.
that's correct.
Where I got that then, but I've written it down somewhere. Maybe I probably wrote two notes down next to each other. See, maybe I do need to watch more TV.
Or I don't know. I can. Yeah, you said it's. When do you? How much do you sleep a night?
Oh, I make sure to get 8 hours.
Do you? You get
I'm
8?
very diligent about my sleeping.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me ask you this. Are you good at, I'm terrible at this. Are you good at watching TV and sort of having other things going on and people talking? And
I can do that with comedies. I have trouble with dramas. Because
okay.
you kind of pay attention with the dramas.
Yeah.
But comedies, especially like I do a lot of, I watch a lot of the same comedies over and over again, just because
Yeah.
of the background noise when I'm working and stuff.
Right.
Those I can do pretty well. Yeah, dramas are a little tougher. If there's distractions, I have trouble with that.
I always, TV was always such a, um, it was a hideout. It was relaxing. They were, like, I love stories. I love getting, I wasn't as big a reader. Reading was challenging, dyslexia, and all that stuff. But really watching, and I love, again, comedy. I have comedy on all day. You have TV. TV I can't do because it's visual, and I somehow have to
You got to
concentrate.
focus on it. It's hard. Like
Yeah.
my wife does everything she watches, she's on her phone while she's watching.
Oh no,
I
couldn't
can't do
possibly.
that.
No.
As soon as
And
I
I
look
cannot
down at my phone, I
stand.
stop paying attention.
I have two pet peeves. One is if we're watching something and somebody's going to talk the whole time.
Yes.
And yet I've been known to do it on occasion. And then I can't stand if we're going to watch a movie and everybody falls asleep and I'm the only one that can't fall asleep and I have to finish watching the movie by myself. I don't like that.
I've had that situation happen before where the whole room fell asleep.
Yeah, I know.
Except for me.
Yeah, I feel you. But yeah, I listen to comedy and I used to love, and of course, Carol Burnett and
Miss Carol Burnett.
Mary Tyler Moore and The Odd Couple, and I loved all, and Sonny and Cher and
Yeah.
Cher, and watching Cher and Carol Burnett do their thing together and dress up and be silly and sing songs. That was heaven.
Miss the variety.
Flip Wilson, yeah, I do too. Flip Wilson and I love all those. Yeah,
we were like when we first got cable in the 70s, the late 70s, they showed all that stuff in reruns. So I kind of grew up on that. I just didn't watch it maybe live, but I was watching it, through the late 70s, early 80s.
And then you had to get up and actually turn the dial, and there were only 5 channels. I sat on the end of it. Yeah, anyway.
Well, if you wanted a PBS on ours, you had to turn the little dial. You had to turn the bottom dial to U, and then the little dial to 33, and then you got PBS.
But see, this is what we were talking about before we started recording, which is being part of an era where, I don't know, I'm glad that I know those times and that TV was here and just it was a place and a time and a thing you did with people, and that the phone was something else, and that when you were out, you were out and nobody could reach you, and you rode your bike all over and nobody could, so there's the accountability and the privacy and the quiet time and the single focus on things has been sort of lost in the shuffle of.
Don't you miss and I never thought I'd say this, but used to be with TV, if you missed an episode of a show, you had to wait till summer till the reruns came out.
Right, and so racing home, and everybody was like, we have to be home at 8 or 9 or 10 or whatever to see and then that was before even VHS machines.
Yeah.
And
We couldn't even
yeah,
tape it at that point.
no, no.
Yeah, I've taped a lot of shows on VHS tapes where the channel wasn't even coming in very well.
Oh,
You know,
no.
maybe it was like you had the double people or the ghost image and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
still taped it,
Fuzz.
but
And then
I'm
the
just
line.
happy to be able to watch it later,
Yeah.
even a crappy
Gotta get
version.
just to get the gist. Yeah, I know. And what I did record some of Homefront off the TV on VHS, and I said, you know what, don't keep the commercials, because the commercials are antiques now. So, like, from 91 too, that would be fun to watch. So
I
I
miss
said,
those.
just
That was back when commercials were actually pretty good.
yeah, digitize the whole thing. I said, but you know what, we're really showing our age here.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kids even they're just like dad. Let.
But you started early because you're young. How old are you?
I'm 53.
Oh, okay.
I'll be 54 this October. So it
You
doesn't
have been
feel so
busy.
young anymore.
No, I know, but I mean, but you packed it in. You got 4 kids and 5 grand. Like, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
This
You're
podcasting job is pretty hard.
yeah. Well, less hard because you love it so much. That makes such a huge
That's the
difference.
truth. You've listened a little bit, so you may have heard me.
Well, the call center didn't sound like fun, and that took
But
up a
that's
lot of
it.
your
I mean,
life.
I spent 20 some years running call center.
Yeah.
Never
Yeah.
enjoyed it. I enjoyed
Is it the people? But if you're running them, isn't a lot of your job kind of HR and
it is.
dealing with?
Unfortunately, it's a lot of discipline. It's none of the
Yeah.
good stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
You get to make all the decisions, but then you also are accountable.
Have to implement them. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
And I always struggled with disciplining people
Right.
because I always just want to help them.
Well, then I also asked you before you started recording whether you do any disciplining or boundary making or setting manners with the grandkids on Fridays, and you're like, nope.
I mean, I keep them from hurting themselves or
Yeah.
breaking anything, but there's
Yeah.
Pawpaw does not fuss at the grandkids.
But you're going to have to put some please and thank yous in there. You got to work. You got to make them user friendly.
Well, yeah, we absolutely do that. We practice a lot. We do a lot of my wife's half Mexican, so we do a lot of counting in Spanish and
Awesome.
trying to, because that's when they can pick it up.
Yes. 2 languages, get it in there. Yeah, the brain is ready to absorb it all.
They may
important.
be saying it with a West Virginia accent.
I was going to say, is like, as the conversation goes on, I'm terrible. I always end up sort of talking like the person I'm talking to, and I might start
I always do
imitating
it. Like if you hear me talking with family, my accent gets really thick. Not that it's
really
thick now, but it gets almost couldn't understand
it. Yeah, I listen to and I'm trying to think of an accent, and you pull it up on YouTube, and you try and work it a little bit and see if you can get close. I think that's fun.
I would come to dinner at your house if you were using that accent.
Oh, well, yeah, you'd come.
I would
for dinner,
assume you're a good cook if you can talk.
Oh, well, I wouldn't assume that, sir. Do not assume that. I can put something together just to to feed the machine. But I mean, some sort of culinary delight, you'd have to have a very wide palate.
I got a lot of my nerdy friends that I've been friends with for 50 years very excited about you coming on the show.
Oh,
just like me, that we were nerdy. We loved Earth 2, so we were watching that.
Yeah.
But we saw you on a lot of things. I mean, like I said, you did. I remember you being on A Touched by an Angel.
Oh my gosh,
that's been years ago. And then there was this. I love this one show called Murder One.
Yeah,
you got to do that one. I thought it was so. If I remember right, it was like same Stephen Bochco, I think, is one that did that, right? That did Hill Street Blues, I think, did Murder.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It was a good show because it was one of those. It was like one of the first ones that did the whole season was like one case.
Right. Precursor to 24 was something like that.
Right. Yeah. Where before, it was every episode was kind of self-contained, same characters, but the story was kind of self-contained. But it ran. The whole one case ran a whole season. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, I did too. And that was one of those the so I always played sort of jargony people. So if you're playing, Dr. Heller on Earth 2 and you're trying to talk like medical jargon, or you're a lawyer and you're doing expositional brrr, or you're a pilot and you're like pushing buttons and all that stuff. I was like,
You played a
and
lot of those type of professions.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That you get to play on TV, but don't have to do all the years and years of schooling and
I mean, Ben Affleck, Bruce Willis could not have saved the planet without you piloting the shuttle.
well, as I say, we just tried to save the world for everybody and seem to have done a good job.
That's in a lot of ways, the cheesiest movie, but I love it. Everybody loves that movie.
It's so bizarre. I know. I mean, while you're watching, I'm like, oh my, but everybody, like, it really does have, and I've had people say that's my favorite movie of all time. I'm like,
good movie.
Wow. Yeah.
It's one of it's a good popcorn movie, like,
yeah.
Get you a little bit of snacks and just watch it. It doesn't matter how many times you've seen it. It's still good.
Okay, question. Have you ever researched, and we went to Barbie the other night, and
What did you think?
Pardon me?
What'd you think?
I'll get to that. But have you ever researched who came up with the noisiest snack, popcorn, to eat in a movie theater? Like, whose idea was that? It should be just like marshmallows and gooey, soft, quiet things. It's all the packaging and
my ex-wife,
to the bottom of that.
she has that, like a lot of people do, where she doesn't like people eating. The chewing sound absolutely drives her insane.
Oh, and now there's this. What is this whole area of SMRI
yeah, the stuff where they make the noises that are supposed to
eating and crunching and speaking or something.
Not a fan.
Like, well, it's a whole thing. It's a huge
is.
thing. SMRI.
I don't
anyway,
know. I know exactly what you're talking about though, because it's like they're like crinkling paper and stuff.
Yeah, this is I'm eating spaghetti and now I'm eating carrots and now I like. But when we were growing up, I don't know about you, but you chewed with your mouth closed.
Oh yeah.
And my great aunt hated gum. You did not chew gum around my great aunt, and like you kept your mouth closed, and you're not making smacky.
That's right. You got in trouble if you were loud.
Oh my. No.
And admittedly, it is very annoying when somebody does not have very good eating or table manners.
That's all. Every culture is different too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to the movie and it's been very uncomfortable. Back when my ex-wife and us were dating, we go to the movie and it would I could see her getting agitated.
Oh yeah.
And we'd end up either missing the movie or having to move
right
during the movie because she couldn't concentrate on it.
I would say that the good thing is, well, certainly at the VIP, like I took my friend because it was her birthday, we went to VIP. And so you get served your seat, and then they don't take any orders once the lights go down.
Yeah.
Right. So you get that, and then you have a whole bunch of commercials and trailers. Favorite part. I love trailers. So then hopefully by the end of that, you're done. And then
I like the trailers too.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of trailers.
But yeah, that's true. You kind of like it always, and I shouldn't get this way, but I always get aggravated that you have the people filing in while the trailers are going on. I'm like, get here on time.
Get to your seat.
Get to your seat. I'm trying to watch.
I love how we're like doing movie theater critiquing, and yet I still would watch a movie in a theater over
so much better
at home. And I love going to movies. Love it. Yeah.
I mean, if you're showing it at my house and I haven't went to see it yet, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
But I prefer to see it.
Yeah. And then I actually went, we were shooting in Calgary and it was quiet, and I, at the hotel, and I went to a movie theater a couple of times and being the only person in the theater, like having the entire theater to myself. It was really,
it's the best.
Yeah, it was fun.
I used to be, when I was this has been years ago, but I was in sales. This is before I got into call centers.
You got
And
so much. You really
I
have packed
hated
it in.
sales, absolutely hated it. But I
Okay.
was out, I had to go to businesses and sell. And some days
Yeah.
it just wasn't. So I
Yeah.
just sneak off to the movies.
Sneak off. Yeah.
And we had a movie theater next to a mall, and you could go in and get one of those big shopping bags. So I would pay my quarter, I get my big shopping bag, and then you could go shop in the mall. But what I would do is I'd stick a whole pizza in that bag and then go to the movie.
A stick a whole what?
A whole pizza in that big
Oh my
shopping
God.
bag. Because they just thought you were shopping at the mall. And I
And
just
I
go
love
in
that
there
you're
and
on the clock.
I'd have my pizza in the movie.
That's so good. That's good. That's good. Yeah.
Those were some good
Don't
ones.
try this at home, kids.
Right. You can't, well, it'd be tough to do now.
Oh yeah, there's so much you can't get away with now.
But that's
Yeah.
if it wasn't for the snacks, I'm not sure a lot of theaters would stay open. That's how they
Well,
make
the
their money.
snacks are so expensive. It's
And
like
you
it's
pay
crazy.
$5 for a bottle of water.
I know. I know. Oh well, look at us lamenting. All right. All right,
So
what else are we going to talk about?
well, so my mother, NCIS is her favorite show. So she loves you on there. It's rare if I can go to my parents and say, "What have you seen this person on?" They'll be like, "I don't." But she knew you from NCIS.
Yeah.
So I
That
thought,
was one of 5 times, I think 5, that I've been blown up. She blowed up real good.
yeah.
That's
Well,
how
it was very upsetting when
yeah.
when,
Yeah.
when you came to.
For me too. Get blown up.
I mean, I guess if
Yeah.
you have to die, you want something kind of spectacular, though.
Well, quite honestly, I was hoping that when they were, filling the female lead, it was going to be me, and then I got blowed up instead. It's like, oh, that's the opposite of what I was hoping.
That's not what I was looking for.
That's not what I was thinking at all. I see how you feel about me. All right, bye.
The other one I liked you on was a Canadian show, but we got it here. It's Flashpoint.
Yeah, that CBS contributed to that show and played it in the summers, and so it did get some American coverage. And I always love when Toronto or wherever in Canada is the home base. And here, we shoot Homefront as if we are here, Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a rare thing though, that Flashpoint got to be itself, Toronto,
I know. Don't you?
Yeah.
It's weird to me that we don't get more Canadian TV in the States. I don't. You're right.
Well, I mean,
Just
I know,
download an app and let's watch it.
Of course, we have 1/10 of the population, and therefore less content is made. And you guys, the States just make so much content. But yes, we make good shows, and I think many have been aired on. Yeah, and maybe now with the strike, they'll be looking for some.
I'm doing my part. I keep interviewing Canadian actors.
You are.
And we talk about these shows. And people are really like, "Where can I watch this?" I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah.
Canada.
Canada. I love the way you say that.
Well, that's the West Virginia accent.
Yeah, it's strong.
Oh, it's strong.
Yeah,
I didn't realize. I always knew I had an accent. I didn't realize it was this strong until I started talking with people, that were like,
hear yourself. Yeah,
out of the country, and they're like, "Where are you from?
Where are you from, sir?" Yeah.
In West Virginia, we say, "I'm going to sit in the floor."
In the floor?
In the floor. You don't say on the floor. We say in the floor.
Okay.
Okay. I didn't realize
that was a weird. There are people that say on accident.
Oh yeah,
that happened on accident.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on, in, I don't know which preposition. Yeah. Yeah. Flashpoint was fun, and working with all those guys fun. Again, good relationships maintained, and I go see Hugh.
You've had some really good roles, just even in more of the guest starring role.
Yeah. Well, that's fun. At that shooting the Flashpoint almost simultaneously with Heartland was a nice juxtaposition between characters,
Yeah.
playing Donna Sabina SWAT, bringing in guns and all, and then playing Lisa Stillman driving a Porsche and being a fancy horse lady. So that's nice to sort of balance both sides.
Can you ride a horse?
I can ride a horse, Michael. I don't get the opportunity to ride as often as I would like.
Could you ride a horse before the first time that you had to ride a horse?
No. Well, I mean, yes, I had. My dad did have a farm at one point, and yes, I've been on horses for sure. But the number of times throughout the seasons that I've been on a horse, I definitely like to go out prior to and just refresh a little bit.
I always heard that was the one that actors would kind of fib about a little bit. They'd be like, "Can you ride a horse?" Actors, oh yeah, I can ride a horse, but then they got to go figure it out.
Yeah, I can speed skate. I can stand on my head. I can juggle. Yeah. I'll figure it out by the time I got to get there. Yeah.
Now I could speed skate. I don't know how speedy it'd be at this, at my age now, but I was pretty.
But I mean, like the long skates, like the speed skates.
Oh no. No. Mine have to have the 4 wheels. I can't even do the end.
Oh, you're a roller skater.
I'm a roller skater.
Oh, nice. Wow. Good.
I spent most of the 70s and 80s at the roller rink.
How fun. Like I love watching people do that. I think watching people skate is awesome. I think it's very my ex-husband was a beautiful skater. It's just like dancing. Yeah.
Well, it's a rule in Canada. You gotta know how to skate.
I know.
I played hockey, you know how to skate.
I know. I played a coach and I had to take lessons. And
what was that?
Slap shot 2.
Oh, slap shot 2.
Yeah. And I took lessons. And where did I take them? I was living in LA, so I took them in LA at this big arena, just privates. And I got to the point where I could go in one direction, foot over foot. And it is easier if you've got a hockey stick, because then you have another point of contact. And I did. That was great. But I certainly was no swift,
No, I understand.
Magical. Yeah.
Am I remembering wrong, or did you have a couple of roles on The Practice? Does that sound right?
One.
Now that I've been wrong about Dr. Weir, I'm a little worried.
Okay, now I'm getting confused. The Practice.
There were at least I couldn't remember if you did different characters or if it was the same character, but you're on a couple of episodes.
I think I only did 1 episode of Practice.
That may be.
I did 3, and I actually just got a residual check today from Outer Limits.
Oh, that's right.
I did 3 or 4 of those. Yeah. Because they shot in Vancouver.
The reboot of Outer Limits.
Well, and they're one-offs, they're anthology.
Yeah, it's an anthology,
right? That's an anthology. Yeah. I get perennial and annuals mixed up too. Anyway, so they're just so you could be different people every time, and that was great. Yeah, and I did I think 3 or 4 Outer Limits, and really loved that. That was fun. Those were great. But The Practice, I think I did 1.
That may be. I for some reason I was thinking you maybe had done a couple, but when was The Practice on? It's been a while.
You tell me.
Yeah, back in the 90s.
I'm just I've come to realize that my memory is very selective. There are things that I remember clear as a bell, and then there are things I did what?
Yeah.
I'll see things. Okay, so this is a good example. I was getting off a plane in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and this young man starts saying this name I don't know, but looking at me, and then says, "Are you Jessica Steen?" I said, "Yes." And he said my character name on Charmed. He was a huge original boot of the Charmed. And I was like, wow, yeah, wow. And you get these residual checks, and then I ended up moving back to Vancouver and getting a couple episodes on the new one. Oh. And then I was watching Netflix, and I was like, oh, they're showing the old Charmed. I was like, and so I go look at an old residual check for this show. And I was like, what season, what episode? And I go to look, and I was like, oh my God, my husband is John Hamm. I didn't remember shooting any of it. I didn't remember one frame of that show. I was like, I did that? Huh. No recollection. And then
Yeah.
John Hamm. And I was like, two paths diverged in a yellow wood, and off he went on to become a
That was a
mega
young John
superstar.
Hamm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. We were husband and
Of
wife.
course, we all were back in
Archaeologists.
the 90s.
Weren't we all then?
I felt I didn't like the 90s is when I actually felt like a grown up. Because I got married, I started having kids. That was my grow up decade. Got a real thing.
Well, yeah, I guess it's different for everybody when you sort of come online. You know what I mean? It's like, well, like I don't know. I feel like I was a grown up when I was a kid.
Well, yeah, no, I get that. And there was some truth to that. But now looking back, I was like, no, I was at least as big a dumbass as all of my kids. Like you're fussing at your kids, and it dawns on you that you have done whatever you're fussing.
You have no leg to stand on. Yes. Yeah. That's the beauty of not having children. I have to say, it's like I can just be on my high horse, riding you along.
Well, you'll never be called a hypocrite.
Pious. No, exactly. Well, exactly. But then, just how about shut up, old lady? You don't know what you're talking about because you don't have kids.
Well, Jessica, I appreciate you coming on the program. I'm
Thanks for
such a fan of yours. Absolutely love every time you show up on show. I even liked the.
I love that.
The thing you did with Michael Richards.
Trial and error.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I always think you bring something to every show you're on. I always enjoy it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And we didn't even talk about Captain Power. Loved you on the Captain Powers.
Yeah, that I have a DVD set of because the 25-year anniversary happened and they made a set.
I've got a DVD set of that.
Do you really?
I do. I got it. I actually got it for Brett when he was younger. You watch some of these. Yeah.
Well, and see, there's a thing where, sitting there watching Barbie the other night made by Mattel, and I was like, that was made by Mattel, and their whole intention was to sell these toys that interacted with the TV. And as you recall, the breastplate of the bad guys flashed, and if but if you didn't shoot them properly, you got ejected out of your plane, and we all had these hilarious, not very true to form action figures, but that's
you still have the action figure.
I have like one or two, yeah. But to see, they raised money with different people, and the gal that they raised money that played me, so they built this breastplate, these huge boobs, and she had dyed bleach blonde hair, and so they fashioned much, I guess, more impressive to be a big buxom blonde than I was like, as soon as I power on, my boobs go
Well, that's a very important part of the superpower.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it depends on your foe, but anyway, but I thought that was a good teaching tool that didn't have its time, interacting with the TV, and you could play spelling games or learning things or whatever. And if you got it right, you would this or wrong that. Anyway, I don't know. That's
a little bit ahead of its time, I think.
Yeah. Too ahead of its time, I guess. Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Well, okay. So a couple of things, Jessica, before we wrap up.
Tell me.
Anything that you're working on that we can kind of keep an eye out for?
Well, so we did a 5-part scripted podcast called Stream Queen.
I love that.
And it's on everything from Spotify you just look up podcasts on your iPhone, or it's on everything, every platform, Apple, everything. Yeah. So it's findable. And we did 5 of those, and playing mother-daughter, and the daughter. And this is interesting because we started this conversation. I can't remember if this is part of the recorded portion or not. That you and your son, how you landed on the Too Opinionated title of your show, and how you and your son got together, and you thought that you would both be very opinionated from different generations, right, talking about various art. So this show, which we've now recorded, filmed portions of to sort of get it potentially made into a show. But the audio is so interesting to do audio and we were all three of us in different locations. You know, the writer, producer, director is in Toronto. I'm out here in Calgary shooting and I'm like in my closet, and my daughter is in Los Angeles in her bathroom. And the three of us are, you know, we've got mics and we got an app and we're shooting. Yeah, I highly recommend. It's great to listen to to a scripted old school radio show kind of thing. And all the Foley. Yeah. And so there are TikTok bits under Stream Queen XOXO that where my daughter, who is a vlogger and a DIY Etsy gal, and she's making her living by doing, like, having a following.
Yeah,
and her freeloading mother comes to town, you know, and ends up basically through shenanigans getting her 119,000 more views than she had before. So yeah. So, and then, you know, there's one bit where on TikTok where the mother gets on Tinder and takes a selfie, and then, you know, face tunes her face, and then, you know, anyway, so it's live.
Fun.
Yeah, no, it's really fun. And it's two generations of women finding their way through the world, reinventing themselves, you know, and being together, having had a sort of rough childhood years time. And so, yeah, it's very funny, very well written. Haley Tyson is a really wonderful writer, and we're hoping to get that made. So that's on TikTok and any audio platform. And I think just personally, you know, so we're getting to the point where all my friends were like, I think we need to think about buying property and creating, you know, retirement life together.
Hey,
like
I'm doing that right now.
Are you? Well, you're building your family around you.
That's right. That's right.
But for those of us who don't have children, we're all clustering together so that we can, you know, create a space that has a movie theater, and and then we can laugh, you know, grow old laughing.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's in the works, and sort of working on the HR factor and how would we all do that and not kill each other. And and then my other thing is trying to get this footage. I'm telling you, this is a big project, and I really don't know how best, without the part that your son does. I struggle.
Yeah.
So I have so much footage, and it started when I got cast. I was living in New York, and I got cast on Homefront. So I ran out and bought a video camera, and it was this big, and it drove everybody crazy. And nobody was taking selfies and taking video of each other. So everybody's very shy, very annoyed.
You were ahead of your time.
So yes, and I would stand in the mirror and do like diary updates, like so selfie updates.
You gotta get what
my life was. I know, and then, you know, we're at the People's Choice, or I've got behind the scenes footage of Armageddon and going up into the shuttle, and I just have so much footage, like hundreds of hours of footage, and I have to get through it. And I don't know. I'm daunted by the task, but I know I not only need to get the footage to people, family people, and so on, but I also know that there is some kernel of something in the footage. Pre iPhone, what do we do with all this footage? The selfie. There's also like sort of my trajectory through Los Angeles, those sort of, you know, busy years. I don't know. Anyway, something's I got to do that.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to that. You need to get that out there.
I know. It's a big, yeah.
Okay, so last question.
Yes.
Social media.
You know, Michael, I really struggle with social media, not only because
you need someone to do it for you.
Well, I'm private. Like, I also don't think nobody needs, like, I don't know. I don't.
Not even Instagram. Just
I have
like pictures of what you're eating or anything.
God, no. I mean, who cares what I eat and where I go or what I put on my face?
Dumbasses like me out there that probably care.
But I don't know. I could see. I don't know. I watch some of my coworkers do it, and I think that's a job. It is a big job thing. But I have to say, like, I'm very private. And I'm happy. I heard you say on one of your things that you're an introvert.
I am an introvert. Yeah.
Well, this doesn't say introvert to me.
Well, I appreciate that. I've worked really hard to get around it. But
You can be both. I mean, I think I'm at least half introvert.
well, a lot of actors are introverts, which I surprised me. I wouldn't have thought that, but I'm like that. You know, if I'm in a situation where I don't feel comfortable, I'm definitely introvert.
And then you also have to go home and feed your introvert. You know, like you need to take it home.
Yes.
And there's oftentimes where I feel like I'm Eeyore with a little wizened old balloon being dragged by my introvert is just like, can't we go home yet? And my extrovert's like, let's go.
I say that all the time. If I'm in a group situation, whatever it is, at some point I'm going to need to go off by myself.
Yeah.
Get a break, like a mental break.
Yeah. Too much talking and listening. And ideally you're a good listener and it requires attention. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm a terrible social mediaist, and I'm also that's one aspect of this job of being an actor. The PR portion, that is not a forte. I don't have. I'm a lunch bag letdown on that one, I'm afraid.
I think that's okay.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
We'll allow it.
All right. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that.
Well, Jessica, thank you so much. I really appreciate
it.
I was so happy when you said yes. You know how there's everybody has those certain people that they just really like for some reason. You were always one of those for me.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you so much. And it's been fun listening to get ready and to listen to your.
I know. So interested in did that.
Well, and to see and people who are interested in getting to know other people, but you participate and you're giving of yourself. And so that's what makes it more of a conversation and much more fun. And thanks.
Thank you. And thank you for saying that. Because that's kind of the way we've kind of approached this was we just really have conversations because who wants to just get interviewed?
No, exactly. Yeah.
You get tired of that.
I absolutely appreciate the very important topics we've covered. I want to get to you must get to the bottom of the popcorn.
That's right.
The popcorn.
We got some homework.
Yeah. We'll catch up.
We got to find Earth 2 that's the main.
Earth 2 and Homefront. If somebody please find those.
Got to be out there.
I know. Somebody that recorded them well. All right. Okay. So what do y'all say when you say goodbye down in your neck of the woods? Y'all come back now, you hear? Or
that's a good.
I'll be seeing you in the floor.
When you come over, we're sitting in the floor to have dinner.
We're sitting in the floor together, and can you cross your legs? I can't do that anymore.
I can't do that anymore either. No, being honest, I don't sit in the floor.
Help us out. No, in the floor.
Like the grandkids, they can all squat. Where they're
on their feet
with their butts basically sitting on the floor. I'm like, how do you?
I'm going for knee surgery. Like I'm serious. Yeah. Well, so don't fall on accident into the floor, Michael.
You do that really well. Like if you use that accent in West Virginia, people would think you were from here.
You think?
Oh yeah.
You
said you were sitting on the floor, and they'd be like, "Aha, not a West Virginia."
I can't say any of my outs or abouts or house.
Oh, yeah. First time you say,
keep those under wraps.
Sorry, how you say sorry?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Yeah, we do say that. You.
Yeah. Okay, hold on.
All right, well, have a great Tuesday. What day is it?
Tuesday? Yeah, it is Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Tuesday.
So excited to have Jessica Steen on the show. One of my favorite actresses, and has been. I'm very consistent. My family always says when I like something, I really like it, and I always like it. Jessica is one that I have liked ever since I've seen her on TV. I just think she's a really, really good actress. And I meant that. She brings something to every role. And I think we hit most of the ones that I wanted to touch on. She's done so many. I remember her doing some episodes of Night Heat back in the day. She, of course, made an appearance on Supernatural. She was on Monk, CSI. The original Kojak, I think she was on. I don't think it was the reboot. I think it was the original. She had a role on Nip Tuck. She was on Mutant X, which was another show I thought ended too soon. Dragnet. We talked about Stargate a little bit. She had an appearance on ER and Grey's Anatomy. She played a doctor on. So she's done so much. Absolutely such a fan of hers. So happy that we got to spend a little bit of time with her. Thank you guys for tuning in again this week. Would appreciate if you could take a minute and subscribe. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. You can find all 630 episodes and counting on our website, meistercon.com. You can get the audio and the video version of that. So please check us out there. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm once again here to ask for your support. It's been a big year for the Two Opinionated podcast. Back in February, we got to live out a dream, moderate for William Shatner here in our hometown. In May, we passed 100,000 downloads on our YouTube channel, and we followed that up in June with 50,000 downloads on the audio side. We recently posted our 600th episode, which is pretty good volume for just a father and son operation. Not too many podcasts can keep that volume up. We've been doing this now for 4.5 years, 600 plus episodes. We recently hit 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, which is a really big deal for us because we've always gotten the views, but have struggled to get people to subscribe. So that 1,000 was a big deal for us. And best of all, we were recently named one of the top podcasts on IMDb, which is the entertainment database. Those that are ahead of us, we came in at number 82. Those that are ahead of us are bigger companies like Disney, mostly Marvel, and Joe Rogan, that type of podcast. So for us, being just a small West Virginia father and son podcast, to be in the top 100 out of 15 million, it's a pretty big deal for us. So thank you for everything you've done for us so far. Got a couple little ways, though, that you can help us, and they're free, and they're really easy. If you haven't checked out our YouTube channel yet, please go to YouTube. It's under MeisterCon Pod. Just hit subscribe. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Really helps us a ton. And maybe even more important, if you could go to imdb.com, look up the Two Opinionated podcast, and just look around the page. Just having that traffic on the page really helps us out. So that's a couple easy ways that you can support us, even if you're not listening or watching all of the time. And we want you to listen and watch, because I think that our guest list, I would put up against anybody, any other show, podcast, anybody out there. I think our guest list holds up. So please check us out. You probably will find somebody that you like, or maybe somebody that you didn't know you liked, but kind of discovered them on there. There's tons of that. If you're into music, we have that too. If you like books, we've got authors on there. If you're more into what goes on behind the scenes in the entertainment world, we've got producers, directors, video artists, anything you can think of that happens behind the scenes, we've had them on the show. So definitely check us out. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody.